Hi everyone. Good morning or afternoon, wherever you guys are. We're just waiting for everyone to join, and let's give it a couple more minutes. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Okay, since it's 1:35 where I am, and of course it's 8:35 in the Philippines, we can start. We are operating on, I guess, Spanish time, not Filipino time, but I'd like to take the chance to thank everyone for joining this call. I hope this meeting or discussion will be quite informative for anyone interested to study abroad. We have come packed with a lot of information and we'll get started. So I will now present my screen. So as I mentioned, welcome. And thanks for taking the time tonight or today, taking the time out of your schedules to attend this webinar. I'm Lauren, and later on, I will further introduce myself and my role. So this webinar is called March Towards Your Dreams, Empowerment Through Education with Filipinas Abroad. So this is our webinar agenda. So here we will do some welcome and opening remarks for 5 minutes. And I'll give you some introduction about studying abroad for 10 minutes. And then third would be study abroad programs, particularly with masters for 10 minutes. And then next would be also learning Spanish for 10 minutes. And next would be also the process on how to get started. And that would also be 10 minutes. And we'll also give some time for Q&A as well towards the end. But again, welcome everyone. So I'm Lauren. I'm the host and moderator for this discussion today. And you can feel free to drop your questions in the chat and our team will answer during the presentation. So you can just drop in your questions and we will answer and reply to the question. So of course it is March and we are very much celebrating this particular month. It's called the International Women's Month. And earlier in the month, we also celebrated the International Women's Day. So here we highlight how education can boost one's confidence, leadership, and independence, and basically to enable personal growth. So some inspirations. So of course, first we have Sophia. She was an exchange student back at that time. She traveled to Spain last year, and she spent 2 to 3 months in Spain and Barcelona in particular. And she was taking up an exchange program in fashion design, if I'm not mistaken. The next one is another inspiration. Her name is Isabella. She took up master's in business innovation, and now she has finished and actually has is gotten back to the Philippines, and is now, enjoying her time back in the motherland. The next one is Rika. She took up Spanish course at University of Vigo. It's all the way to the west of Spain. But yes, this is also another path which she took up. And then next one is Uzi or Uziel. She is actually a researcher slash scientist and working at Universidad de La Salle. So she has been able to go to Spain via research uh, visa, I would say. So of course, I'm also sharing some guest speakers for us today. They are um, with us at Filipinas abroad, and I'm super happy that they were able to join us. One is in Barcelona and one is in Valencia. So yeah, these are the two of our guest speakers. So first off is Darla. Hi, Darla. Darla is sharing her screen. So Darla is a master's in marketing and communication student at SA International Business School, which is a globally recognized institution for business education, networking opportunities, and focus on digital innovation and entrepreneurship. And then another one is Dan Agoto, who is our foreign language student at El Carmen Spanish School back at sunny Valencia. He is immersed in an intensive Spanish language course. And well, this institution is also very well regarded for its immersive teaching approach, cultural integration, and prime location in the heart of Valencia. So, studying abroad and why it's a life-changing experience. I'll give you some walkthrough of my last months in the Philippines, just so you could picture or give a snapshot or show a snapshot of how it can look like for you. So this is about 5 to 6 months prior to me arriving in Spain. And for August, I have finally enrolled in a school. I have already paid my tuition fee. I have already chosen my particular school for my master's. I then still continued to work as I was also already a professional, but I also did a quick trip to Hong Kong. September, I attended work events, but then I have now started to bit by bit mention my plans of studying abroad to friends and family. Of course, family was a little earlier than this. And then October, now I have filed my resignation. For any one of us that is working, this could also be good news or bad news, depending on your experience at work. But yes, it was a bittersweet moment for me. And then here at this point, because we would need to already fix our student visa items. So first is also fixing my medical evaluation, my NBI clearance. I also did an executive checkup to get things all sorted or cleared. Just an additional step. It's not required, but that's some of the things that I did. And then November, I still did a trip to Japan. And it was good that I did this because the passport that one would need to apply for the visa, you would need to surrender it. So if you have any plans of traveling, if you have any plans of you know, doing other things, international, then I suggest doing it prior to your Spanish embassy appointment. And then from here, I started packing, did spring cleaning, still prepared more documents, and fixed my bank and mobile arrangements. So those things. And then for December, I have received my student visa approval. It was a bit clutch, and if I had um, to do it again, I would probably do it earlier, because it was a slightly stressful situation because I was supposed to fly the month after, where my first what do you call this, day of school was going to happen. So I still had to do a lot of things, and it was Christmas, it was traffic and everything. So it was a very interesting time, and also stressful time. And then of course I booked my flights. Mm, mm, Best, not the best price, but I still had to do it. So yeah, and then I still celebrated Christmas and New Year's with my family. So also some expectation versus reality moments, and I'll breeze through it. So the reality is, well, I had my clothes with me, but I needed to buy thicker clothes for the winter. Right now, we are finishing winter and spring is about to come. Um, for well, it's 18 degrees Celsius in Barcelona right now, but lately or in the past 2 weeks, it was about 8 to 11 degrees, which was so cold. So now we kind of look forward to the springtime already. Reality as well. How true is it that I see landmarks everywhere? There are so many historic landmarks everywhere in Europe. Particularly for me, this is just a 10-minute walk to another what do you call this? Creation of Gaudi, which was his first creation for a house. Casa Gaudi, if I'm not mistaken, is the name of the creation. The next one is, what do European apartments look like? It depends. So some European apartments can be big, but there are also European apartments that can be small. If you've traveled to Europe, then you will come to find that they value their space, and therefore whatever space they have, they live in and they value it. And then compared to us in the Philippines, where we can ask kuya, ate for these things, I realized that there are a lot of things that I had to do my own, and it was a true test of independence. So and resilience, I would say. But I'm super thankful to have built the community, found the community, and now it's thriving. The next one is, if we're so sanay with our Grab and Ubers, this one will also help us appreciate, I guess, public transport. So now I commute every day. I use the train, the tram, etc. So quick snapshot of some numbers. What do I need, or how much, let's say, do I need to study abroad? First is the accommodation. So normally is 350 to 600 euros per month. And in studying abroad, it is perfectly normal for you to be on a shared accommodation with other people, and other nationalities. I would say it is also an enriching experience, and you will build friends along the way as well. So 350 to 600 is about 21,000 to 36,000 pesos per month on a shared accommodation setup. The next one, as you may know, we would need a health insurance as well, with regards to our student visa requirements. It will be a range of 400 euros to 600 euros per year, which is amounting to about, let's say, 2,500 to 3,600 pesos per month. And then banking, 10,000 euros for living expenses. This is the minimum. So this is something you can consider and take a look at in terms of your banking requirements. And then mobile network, normally we pay Vodafone and it's 10 euros per month or 600 pesos, but it is an unlimited plan and you can use it wherever in Europe. Okay, so how studying abroad can help you. First, it will help enhance your education. You could gain access to a wider range of academic programs and advanced courses, experience personal growth. Living and studying in a new country will help us to become independent and adaptable. And of course, especially with dealing with different nationalities and cultures. Exchange cultures and learn a new language. So I was also forced to learn Spanish, not forced, but enticed or encouraged to learn Spanish. And I'm happy to tell you and happy to say that I can now converse in Spanish, order food, ask for directions, those conversational conversations that will help us get around. And then expand your network and boost your employability. Of course, now you have built an international network of friends and professionals that can help with your future career and your goals. Okay, so study abroad for masters, and later on, Darla will be able to share with us some of her experience. So as I told you, we come packed with information, and anyone that has attended this webinar is in a good spot. So there are different ranges, right? So there's range 1, range 2, and 3. So range 1, I would say, would be the economy range. Range 2 would be mid-range. And then range 3 would be, I would say, the premium range. So first off, like for the range 1, it will be a range of 6,000 to 7,000 euros or 360,000 to 420,000 pesos. It is the total tuition fee for the whole term. And the masters that you could come across would be masters in business administration, logistics, digital marketing, tourism and revenue management, and data visualization management. Those are some samples. Range 2 would be 480 to 600,000 pesos or 8,000 to 10,000 euros. The masters are marketing and communications, masters in sports management, in innovation and entrepreneurship, in digital transformation and business, or international relations. The next one would be 1.2M to 2.4M. So range or programs are masters in finance, masters in fintech and business analytics, international MBA, executive MBA, global MBA, or even artificial intelligence for business, or in talent development and human resources. If you want to know more, of course, we go in a deeper dive in our discovery calls, and you can book that wherever you may find us. For next explanation about the ranges. So range 1, they are smaller institutions and may have limited recognition, but can still provide quality education. It can have a potential that it is a smaller in class size. So it will depend. 10 students, 10 to 15 students could be normal. Range 2 would be well-ranked, agreeably well-ranked private institutions, more competitive, potentially admissions process and balance of cost and quality. And then the last one would be globally ranked institutions, state-of-the-art facilities, and they could invest in extracurricular activities and clubs, and highly competitive admissions process. So some quick tips for school admissions. So the requirements are, you could understand academic requirements if they need GRE, GMAT. It will depend on the ranges of the schools that I shared if they would require GRE or GMAT. Some don't require, some may require, but this is just a snapshot. The next one would be statement of purpose, must be compelling and insightful. It also should illustrate your sincere interest to take up the studies, and then recommendation letters normally with one colleague or with one boss or superior. Deadlines it depends, but you must meet these application deadlines and tuition fees on time. Normally, the intake is October for Europe or Spain, and we suggest already starting the process 6 months prior, as I showed with you, even my timeline. These are scholarships, sample scholarships that you could take a look at. First is Erasmus. Normally, master's is what you could take, and you would need to apply for specific universities, and then Erasmus, and then apply for Erasmus scholarship for them to provide you the scholarship. Programs available: sciences, engineering, or humanities, and normally October to January. So if you're looking at doing it next year, this is possible. The next one is UIC Barcelona. So both bachelor's or master's. It's highly important, especially if you're somebody gunning for scholarships, to do it 1 to 1.5 years. Because these scholarships provide batches as well. They provide open calls. So there's like a first call, second call, and third call. The third one is Barcelona School of Economics for master's as well, and programs available: economics and finance. And lastly, vocational courses, although this discussion is not meant for it, but if you are looking to also look at vocational courses that are free of tuition, we are having this discussion on Saturday. And these courses are geared toward more practical disciplines like carpentry, hairdressing, IT, business, web development, administration and finance, and etc. So this is also similar to what I shared, living day to day, but it's in peso, I would say. And maybe Darla could share a bit of points about how it is like so far for her.
Hi, thank you, Lauren.
Over to you,
So
Darla.
yeah,
No worries.
yeah. So I'm taking up my master's at SA International Business School. This is honestly like week 4 since my classes began. And I've been here in Barcelona for more than a month already, like about a month and a half, I would say. So far, I guess one of the things that I really liked about here is um how it's so convenient so far getting around, and um right now also I'm enjoying getting to know and knowing people from different cultures, different countries, and um I guess getting by as well. Those were some of the struggles I had. Also because I don't know how to speak Spanish. Like I can like do like super basic stuff. Only I try to order in Spanish but like in full, but sometimes I find it hard, especially when they respond back to me already, and it's like just full on Spanish straight, and it's also very fast. But I think culture wise, you'd find it here that, at least for me, there isn't much of a difference to um I guess the Philippines. You'll find, aside from sites, you'll find plenty of churches here, and they also have these things like siguro plazas, and um I think yung pinaka culture shock lang for me was that how all the establishments are closed every Sunday. So I had to do like a lot of adjustments in terms of, I guess, like planning my schedule around, and like especially my errands. Like since I have classes 3 times a week, what I do now is I do my groceries between those 2 days that I don't have classes, or um sometimes on Saturday, because clearly the shops are all closed on Sunday, so I'm not really able to buy the stuff that I needed. But in terms of the groceries, I'd say it's relatively, I guess, cheaper and more affordable here in Spain. Compared to other European countries, because I also have relatives and friends who live in other European countries, and they told me how much their groceries cost. And here it's relatively cheaper. You can also find like really good food. Even when you eat out in restaurants, it's quite affordable. Um, I guess you could say in the Philippines it would range from 500 to 600 pesos per meal, which is super sulit already, considering the portion size here is bigger. It's so like for one person, like they serve so much. And in terms of groceries, when I was living in Manila, sometimes I would say pa nga na my groceries here are a lot cheaper compared to when I was living there. Like I could go for a week, like maximum of like 30 euros here. I don't know how much this is. That I think that's around 2000 something. And that's good for one person already, good for 1 week. Sometimes it would last me 2 weeks, I guess, depending on your consumption as well. And yeah, the weather, well, it hasn't been exactly the best since I arrived, but I'm starting to see right now what Barcelona is really like. So it's very sunny, but the weather is, I guess because it's not summer yet, it's a lot more manageable compared to in the Philippines. It gets super hot, but we'll see how it goes in the summer. And the vibe here is just overall positive. People value their time so
Father,
much.
ito yung
People
i-remote.
people also kind of value meeting different people. And here kasi I'd like to think that Barcelona is like a melting pot of different cultures, people from different countries. And yeah, so far the experience here has been pretty swell. And one thing that's also helped me a lot is I guess having Lauren and the community with me, because of course, coming from the Philippines, this is also like my first time being this far from the country and from everyone I know. So it could be like a daunting experience for some, especially if like you're not used to being far away from your family this long or like this far. So it would help to have like a good support system, a good community. And I guess I could say I'm just so lucky to have Filipinos abroad as like a support system for me while I navigate um life here. Yeah. Okay, I think there's a question from the chat. Okay, so it says most of the Filipino aspirants are budgeted and actually banking on getting job part-time for us to support our life while studying. What are the realities as you guys are currently in Spain right now? Um, okay. Well,
I'll
to
also
be
help you answer, but you could go
sige.
ahead first.
Okay. For me, I've only been here for a month, and I've only just started um looking for jobs. But um I guess one of the struggles that I find here is that it would also help to know a bit of Spanish. But I think finding a job here um it
Yeah,
could be quite tough sometimes, depending on I guess your qualifications. And
Father,
yeah.
right now,
di,
yeah.
kastoy yung tanahan uling ako. Naganda yung ayun na.
Okay. Our moderator team, if you could mute everyone. But for particularly for this question, so Darla has actually been able to bring remote work set up with her. So she's actually one of the more, I guess, how to say, maparaan. So she has been able to bring her remote work with her and help curb the potential expenses. It with the Barcelona in particular, there are possibilities of English part-time jobs because Barcelona is, I guess, there are more internationals here. Um, but it's correct that you would need to learn a bit of Spanish, or at least it would help to have a bit of knowledge of Spanish. Anyway, you're really bound to go for Spain, right? So it's also pretty good. Like if you have if you have found like a remote work, that would help. But I would probably give you 3 to 4 months, and that's normally what I also tell
Yeah.
to my clients or to Filipinas abroad clients. Give yourself an average of 3 to 4 months to look for part-time jobs, and that normally is what we have seen a lot of people do, 3 to 4 months. And then there was also a question of how long is the duration of your marketing communications program, Darla. I believe it's 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yeah, mine is 1 year. It could range depending on the program you choose and the school you choose, because there are also programs that I think, if I remember correctly, they span like a year and a half. I think some 2 years, especially if you're taking up international MBA.
Yeah.
So yeah, it will depend
Okay.
on those things.
No worries. And she's actually just started last February, but it's all been so good. She has classes normally in the afternoons and at
Yeah.
certain days of the week, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Darla? So um, she has a mix of strategic communications or marketing and data, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, that's correct. Right now, I'm taking up classes in big data analytics and business intelligence. We also have classes on strategic communication and PR. And I guess by far my favorite so far is design thinking. And aside from that, also I guess to add lang then, like if you're looking for part time, because the student visa actually like includes if I'm not mistaken, Lauren, like 30 hours.
Yes.
Um yeah, per week. So um it, the, most of the schedules of the classes here are really like in the afternoon until evening, so you have time to really work part time, like say like in the morning until like maybe afternoon, early afternoon, because the schedules are really geared towards, I guess, like giving student master students opportunities to actually work part time while they're studying.
Okay, great. So thanks, Darla. Thanks for that sharing. And we now move on to the next part. So now another part would be studying abroad Spanish. So we also have another guest with Dan Agulto, but some quick notes or knowledge. So first off, Spanish language. Spanish is the second mother tongue worldwide and the second language in terms of international communications. There are benefits to learning Spanish. So whether it's educational or travel or even career opportunities. So for educational, of course, access and fluency could help in potentially applying for scholarships. So some scholarships are applicable to Spanish taught programs, and therefore it would help to learn Spanish. Next is travel and cultural exposure, being that there are over 21 Spanish speaking countries. You have access to speaking in Spanish and communicating with the people in those countries. The next one would be career opportunities. So I don't know if you have seen the trend of the BPO sector being bilingual, and it has also helped them provide or get access to another discipline and another career pathway. So normally in business, healthcare, etc. So normally for the admissions, it is more straightforward. So it has an application form that you need to fill out, your passport, and of course proof of payment. So these are the requirements. It would help if, of course, you are, let's say, having a profession that would need the fluency in Spanish, and therefore the embassy would deem it really reasonable for you to learn Spanish. But yes, this is so far what we have. And then scholarships, there are some things called Maik Acid Scholarship, which is a Spanish government scholarship, but it is targeted for government officials. Um, and later on, we can just provide the link to these Maik Acid scholarships, normally applicable to government officials, and you would need to reach a certain level of Spanish. I believe it as is at C1 to gain a scholarship as well. This is more normally for more diplomatic purposes, and yeah, the tips to improve Spanish. So you could start with free online courses, whether it's Duolingo, Coursera, and YouTube, or you can join language exchange programs. I believe in the Philippines, they are also building such communities, Filipino speaking Spanish, and then enroll in short term programs, whether in Spain or Latin America, whether it's 2 months or 3 months. But that would not be applicable to a student visa, but at least you have tried. And then practice daily, whether you watch Spanish movies, read Spanish books, even if they're children's books, and speak with accountability partners or be part of an accountability club that will help you learn Spanish. My personal favorite is to join sports clubs or dance classes like salsa, who I really learned from them colloquially, or even what do you guys workout classes where it's really based in Spanish. So you get a grip of how they speak, what phrases or common what do you call this? Words that they use, and yeah, be more of like a native speaker. So now we have Dan, who will share his experience being a foreign language student at El Carmen Spanish School in Valencia. He has arrived, I believe, January, and so far he's enjoying, and he has actually aced and reached another level in Spanish. At the start, I think he was having a bit of struggle, pero at this point, he has been acing and has been performing very well. So over to you, Dan, to share a bit of 3 minutes of sharing.
Hello
Hi.
everyone. Hi.
Hi.
Am I visible, Miss?
Yes, you're visible.
All right, cool,
Very
cool.
nice.
Hola a todos, everyone.
Hola.
Hola. My name is Dan Agoto, and I'm from Tarlac in the Philippines. And then also I'm here now in Valencia. It's a I believe it's in the northern province of Spain. And I'm here for studying Spanish language. And then after I signed up for 9 months, actually, 9 months in Spanish language. And then after that, I'll be moving to vocational courses and then find a job. And then, of course, the residency that we want. And my experience in studying language, Spanish language, at first, yeah, sobrang hirap because I have no really idea what are they talking about. And after, but after 2 weeks, I got moved to higher level, which is 1.2. I passed the exam, and then yeah, everything's so great, so good so far. And what else? Why did I choose to study abroad? Personal motivation, um, experience, and also yung nangyayari sa country natin right now. Very sad. That's why I want to, need to move to other country, try new experience. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dan, and that's great. That's awesome. So now we move forward with Filipinas abroad and what's the process. So let's get started. So first, for the first month, we apply to the school of our choice, where it normally would take 1 to 2 months. Once we have submitted all the academic requirements, and of course we have touched base with them, they will be able to give us a resolution in 1 to 2 weeks' time, depending on how long we have submitted the academic requirements. Ultimately, you are enrolled if you have provided a registration or paid a registration fee. It could be a registration fee. For some schools that is acceptable. Some schools would accept a 50% payment. Others would also prefer paying tuition fee in full so that they don't have to think about it anymore. But that's normally 1 month time. Um, and of course, here at Filipinas Abroad, we will help facilitate further this communication and this process for you as we are connected with these schools. The next one, gather student visa requirements. So it is 2 months because some takes like a 1 to week turnaround time. So first is like the medical examination and your NBI clearance. So let's say you get your NBI clearance and then you have to come back another week to get it. Or medical examination where you get yourself tested, get yourself checked, and then come back another week or 2 weeks for the results. Apart from that, there is also such a thing called apostille and translation. So those are normally what you could expect in these 2 months for student visa. And of course, your financial documents as well. The next one would be 2 months. Receive your student visa, provide documents during your visa appointment, and yeah, await the approval and book your flight. So begin your studies abroad as well. So this is a quick snapshot of some visa requirements for different countries. And yes, that normally this it could be similar, but please take note that there are many intricacies towards the process that you can overlook, and we're here to help you. Can you work as a student? Students can do part-time work or an internship during the program up to 30 hours per week, or 6 hours per day. So this is some things that you could see. And then this is kind of like how a day can look like. So 9 a.m. is you start work, first 3 hours, and then you have lunch. If you're operating on Filipino time, or if it's Spanish lunchtime, this will be much later, and then you just extend your work. And then 1 to 4 is you're also like working, continuing to work and clock out at 4 p.m. and commute to class. Normally, class hours would be 5 p.m. or 5 to 7 p.m. or 5 to 9 p.m. So how do we help you? We provide end-to-end assistance from admissions, consultations, to in-country integration. So whether it's preparing your academic requirements, your visa requirements, and in-country support and job linkages, we are here to help you. So we have even helped a client gain further discount or further scholarship of 25% for his master's in culinary management. So if you're ready to get started, you can book a discovery call here or take note of all these contact points and feel free to reach out to us. Say that you came from our webinar if you would like, and get started. Ultimately, we're here to help you and support you and enable you to fulfill your study abroad dreams. So now we move with some questions. Okay. Okay, thanks so much for answering as well. Some of them. Okay. Personally, I'd like to graduate and pursue a career after. Do you have stories to share from other Filipinos who have already graduated from their master's program? Especially as a career, since job search visa does not have right to work, yes, for that interim, and we have to find an employer who can sponsor the work visa. So yes, we have found a lot of Filipinos that have found work after their master's program. So one example is Steven, who was working for an internship company, and um, well, that company was a supplier or a provider for Amazon, and he has been able to be absorbed. The important thing is, once you find your internship, you do well and perform the best way you can so that they will see that you're somebody they can't let go of. The second one um would be another friend. So she also did an internship at a startup company in Barcelona, and she was also able to um work and continue the work. She was able to be absorbed. She took an MBA, and then the other one, Steven, took up masters in business innovation. And then another contactor in our community is Michelle, who um also worked for a startup, but it was a travel tech startup, but she took up masters in marketing, and she was also doing an internship until she got absorbed. So it's not impossible. Next one. But yeah, there are other ways. Do you assist in looking for accommodation? Yes. So if you have the requirement of like a special requirement for looking for accommodation, yes, we can help out because we are partners with real estate companies in Barcelona and provide especially for students. Okay, does the company also offer assistance with an LCA pathway? So LCA is a pathway or a package by University of Vigo, and it is provided by another provider similar to ours, but essentially, you are already doing an LCA pathway when you take up a Spanish course, take up a Spanish language course, and from there, apply to whether it's schools, because I do believe LCA grants the pathway to apply for public universities. But even in our partner schools, they provide us a public university pathway as well that you can avail of, and you can get more information. Uh, hmm. Yes, thanks, Darla, for um answering. We helped Darla also get accepted to the school. She was having problems with communication as they were not responding. And given that we are partners, we have been able to link them to the academic team and director. Hi, is it recommended to learn the language first before going to Spain or learning the language while studying? Well, in my experience, I already took 3 to 4 Spanish classes prior to going, but it's not a requirement. That was just my way of like being a bit OC, I would say. So I was a bit OC about it. And also because I just wanted to learn already Spanish right away. But it's perfectly fine to learn this language while you're studying, as some of our in our community is learning Spanish pa lang as they're taking their studies. Normally some schools offer like partner Spanish classes, and that's good, and at a lower rate. Like in my previous school is GBSB, and they offered A1 classes for, if I'm not mistaken, 80 euros or 100 euros, which was just 4,800 pesos, just to get the basic level of Spanish. Yes, so is it possible? Yes, thanks, Isa. So possible to take a language course for a few months and after completion proceed? Yes, that's possible. Um, yes, make sure you have all the requirements prior to leaving though. In terms of the language course, you would have to decide whether you want to take a short-term language course, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. In order to get a student visa, we advise getting a language course of 9 months, but it's a perfect route for you to take a Spanish language course of, let's say, 9 months, and then take up a vocational course, which is actually what our guest Dan is doing as well. So taking Spanish language course and then for intake for vocational course this year. Yes, so is it safe to say that we can proceed studying masters? Yes, of course, because they are English taught. Have you had students graduate or attend masters in public health in Spain? So this one, we normally, and right now we have clients that are taking up vocational course for healthcare, but for masters in public health, normally the fees are, what we've come across was about minimum 10,000 euros for a private course. But of course, it can be lower or higher. What is important is you apply early, because if you apply 1 year prior to your intake, or at least 9 months, then you gain further scholarship or discount. Normally, they would provide 5 to 10%, which is not bad. Yes, of course. My clients na late 30s na approve. They're in their 30s, and especially if you're taking a master's, that's perfectly fine. I went into master's when I was 34, which is already reaching mid 30s. But to be fair, there has also been in our community that took up their master's 41, 50 years old. The other one was taking a master's in innovation in healthcare, and it's with Barcelona Technology School. So he's already 41, and he took up his master's. There was another one, 50 years old. He took up master's in Pamplona. And yeah, as long as you meet the financial requirements, that's not a problem. Can we take masters not aligned with my bachelor's in the Philippines? Yes, that's possible. So what would be important is we provide the cover letter or statement of purpose as to why we now want to take up the masters. Um, Especially if you have work experience or CVs. But this is also where we help you so that we can provide a stronger case to the school of why you can be admitted to the school. Is it true that we should not consider Barcelona? They say that, like the Vatican, they want to be a lone country, and everybody there, including schools, will be required to speak Catalan. So I mean, of course, with anything, it is your prerogative to consider or not consider a city based on your preference. Um, but in terms of them being like the Vatican, there have been independent movements similar to us in the Philippines, in Mindanao, that also want to be an independent from the Philippines. But with everything, we need to take it with a grain of salt, because um there are so many intricacies to the process. There are so many intricacies with national politics that it's not immediate to see these things happen. So even here, I'm in Barcelona, and the people here have been accommodating. People here have been very nice. They are very much used to international people as well. And I would say I have not felt any kind of hostility towards that. But to also be transparent, even Valencia has another language which is called Valenciano. And with similar to us, where in Philippines we have different dialects, whether it's Ilonggo, Bicolano, Bisaya. Uh, it's good to have these regional um cases and experiences. But I myself also, I mean, because of my appreciation for the city that welcomed me, I am not opposed to learning Catalan. So I'm not opposed to learning Catalan, because in a way you learn a new language, and it could benefit you and it could help you. Is pickpocketing really bad in Barcelona? There are places that could be very, you could really feel or see such cases of that. But as long as you live in certain cities or areas, the likes of Eixample, Gracia, San Gervasi, those are where you would not experience these things. But uh it's similar to it happens. It happens whether in Paris, in Amsterdam, and all these things in London. So it's manageable. I have never been pickpocketed in my time here, so it also depends if you're also very, maalaga, or like you're very aware of your surroundings, then normally that won't happen. Also, if you, how to say, if you look like you're lost, or if you look like you're a tourist, then potentially that can happen. But just be aware of your surroundings. Yes, you get assistance in seeking accommodation, especially interim accommodation. So what we normally tell our clients is, as long as you find and just guide you towards the accommodation, that would be fine. And yeah, Filipino apartment owners and even real estate or accommodation partners as well. But we guide you through the process, whether you look for yourself or we look for you. That's possible because some of our clients have their own preferences. And of course, who are we to, I mean, dictate what they want out of their accommodation? Like they have certain standards or requirements. So we listen to that. Okay. If there aren't any more questions, um, okay. This is I guess the last. Will you help us in getting to the university we choose? Like how we commute going there from the accommodation? Yes, so we will help you get into the university. Of course, especially help facilitate the communication. Normally, like some of these things, they find it hard to reach out to their chosen university, and with us, you can gain further discount with the university, and from there, yeah, get get the get to them faster, get to them quicker, get to clarifications quicker, especially English school po balad. Um, no, because there's also Spanish schools that are in Spanish, but we also uh provide assistance for public university. But as I mentioned, public university will be taught in Spanish, and it will entail a process called homologation, which will entail a separate undertaking. Yes, there will be airport pickup if it's in Barcelona. In certain cities, we can check for you and arrange. So if there are more questions, age limit. There is no age limit for taking masters or Spanish. So that's the good thing. For vocational, there is a certain what do you call this? There are certain ranges that they prefer to have for taking up a vocational course. But at the end of the day, as long as we meet all the financial requirements, that we normally get a visa approval. If there are more questions, here we have shown you our places to reach us. Or you can book a discovery call. It's free. We don't charge it. And then also just reach out to us in these channels, and we'll get back to you. But if you are really intent on studying abroad, this has been something that you've been thinking about and dreaming about for such a long time, we really encourage you to make the steps and do the steps towards, let's say, changing your life. So we encourage you to really take heart and really think deeply on the next parts of your life or your journey, so that you gain clarity and gain the understanding of what you want your next year to look like. And we'll be here to support you. We're here to provide the structure, the system to make that happen. And I guess that's it. This is me signing off. from Filipinas abroad. And if you still need us, you know where to find us given these contact points, and we'll see you on the other side. Thanks again for joining. Thanks so much for your time. And we look forward to discussing further with you in the next ones. Talk to you guys soon, and everyone take care. Bye.